morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to take a look at a couple of new secret rares that are coming around in Hot Air Arena, that upcoming Pokemon TCG set. And I'm telling you right now, these look good. Okay, one of them looks cool. The other one also looks cool, but is extremely playable. So let's start off there with Crustle. Yes, we've got the secret rare, the artwork rare version of this done by Takumi Wada, that Japanese artist who's very famous for doing Zelda work, who's recently started working on the Pokemon TCG and frankly crushes it every single time. Crussles it every single time. And we have a Crustle here, and the Crussle's actually really good. What we've got here is the ability, it's Safeguard. It takes no damage from attacks by your opponent's Pokemon EX. There we go. And you know what? Yeah, sounds quite good. Prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon EX. Now, it used to be that Safeguard would actually protect you from Pokemon Vs as well, but obviously in the standard format now, Pokemon Vs are gone, so it's only Pokemon EX that exist. So it's not like they're deliberately nerfing the card or anything silly like that. It is very much just a question of, well, you know what? They might as well, because it doesn't really matter if Pokemon V saves the space on the card. And we know that things like this are good. But it's actually even better because of Dwebble. Dwebble is awesome. You see, Dwebble has got the attack Ascension. Single colorless energy. Search your deck for a card that evolves from this Pokemon and put it onto this Pokemon to evolve it, and then shuffle your deck. This makes the card way better. Because essentially, if you go first, your opponent gets one turn, but they haven't evolved or any of that, and then you evolve up and you're good. Or you go second, your opponent has a turn where they're not even allowed to attack, and then as your attack for the turn, you use Ascension and you roll. I love this. This makes me very, very happy indeed. So yeah, the fact that it's got Ascension honestly makes just a gigantic difference here. It honestly makes the card significantly better. It really does make a big difference. Use Ascension. It's especially good if you're going second, because then it goes back to your opponent's turn, and then when your opponent's turn begins, they're like, oh, yeah, I already can't attack this. Reminds me very much of the old Trevenant, because, of course, that evolved from a Phantump, which had the attack Ascension. So essentially, you could just evolve straight up into it, and your opponent would just never have a chance to get rolling. It was genuinely awesome. So that's where we are. And for that, I absolutely love it. You go second, you evolve up, your opponent can't attack you, job's a good 'un. And some games, that'll be enough. Like, you come up against something like a Raging Bolt deck, for instance, and sure, they might have other stuff, but a lot of the time, Raging Bolt decks are basically Raging Bolt, Teomas, Gogapon, and support Pokemon. So you sit there opposite the table, and you're just like, mate, I'm not putting another Pokemon down. Like, this is going to be my board. So, yeah, sorry about that. Guess you can't actually KO anything, and you're not going to win the game. Now, a lot of decks will have an answer for this, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying there will be some matchups where literally just evolving up into this, your opponent will have no options, no choices, no way of attacking, and that's game. Right there and then. It's like having it on a basic Pokemon. It's very similar to that. What have we got in terms of an attack here? Is it any good? It is, as I would describe it, aggressively fine. 1 grass, 2 colorless energy, 120, and damage from this attack is not affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. Essentially, it goes through anything, which is actually really nice. So, for instance, let's take a Cornerstone Mask Ogapon, for instance, who is another blocking Pokemon you're going to play in these blocking decks. And Cornerstone Mask Ogapon's got an ability that prevents damage from Pokemon that have an ability. Yeah, not this one. Not this Pokemon that's got an ability, and actually you're hitting for weakness here, so you hit 240 and get just a flat one-hit KO. It's sneaky, a really good answer to Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon. It's really quite nice. Attack-wise, it's fine, but it has to be fine, it can't be good. You can't have a good blocking Pokemon that also has a phenomenal attack. Because if you've got a good blocking Pokemon that has a phenomenal attack, then that's just going to be too good, it's going to be broken, you can't do that. But you do at least have a decent attack, a usable attack, and essentially there's two ways that this becomes good. Essentially, it's either you're going to sit there, because your opponent literally has nothing and you win the game, or this will buy you a couple of turns, get some damage on the board, and while you're going ahead doing that, your opponent's got nothing and you're winning the game. Either way, that's going to be a win. I'm giving this between 4 and 5 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies. That would be barbaric. I do think, especially in these kind of blocking decks, this is going to be good. And things like Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon, things like Milotic, we've seen a bunch of blocking decks coming around being very good in Japan lately. And this is essentially just going to be another tool for the arsenal. Just another Pokemon that fits into that category. And that's going to be awesome. I do, however, just for a moment, have to put this next to Aegislash. Because the artwork for Aegislash was also done by Takumi Wada, the same artist. And this has, check this out, the same HP, the same retreat cost, the same ability, with the sole exception that Aegislash also prevented damage from Vs, but I've explained why that's not on Crustle. And the same attack, doing the same damage with the same effect. Now, Aegislash is the 2 energy, not free, and the ability also protects Vs. From Vs. Other than that, these cards are extremely similar, even down to the HP. It is just a stage 1 version of Aegislash, and they're even done by the same artist. That's a bit weird, ladies and gentlemen. That's a bit weird. Doesn't mean anything. Just thought it was a cool little fact. Shout out to lovely Antoine Boulet, of course, who has pointed this out. And is just brilliant generally. But then we've also got ourselves a Rapidash here. And is this Rapidash going to be any good? Sorry. Really beautiful artwork here by Rond, not Rend. Rond. And what we've got is a fairly underwhelming attack, 2 energy, 60. But the reality is this is never actually going to sit in the active and use this attack. It's not for that. It's for the ability. And the ability says, once during your turn, you may draw a card. That's it. That's the thing. That's what the ability does. It's alright. It's fine. The thing is, we've actually seen this a bunch. We've seen this kind of ability on stage 1s actually quite a lot. Weirdly, it's basically the same ability Goldengo's got, although Goldengo will draw a second if you're in the active and has a phenomenal attack, so I don't know, maybe Goldengo's not the best comparison here. But don't worry, we got plenty of others. How about Weirdeer? The one from Astral Radiance. Stage 1, once during your turn, you may draw a card. This is actually ever so slightly better than that, because this has got a retreat cost of 1 rather than a retreat cost of 2, so it's less annoying if it ends up in the active spot. So you could compare this to Weirdeer. Although, to be fair, Weirdeer never really saw very much play. Wasn't a Pokemon we saw very much. Never mind. How about the Sawsbuck from Cosmic Eclipse? Again, a stage 1 Pokemon with an ability that says once during your turn, you may draw a card. Also, incidentally, had a retreat cost of 2. Cool card. But it's fair to point out that actually this also never really saw very much play. Well, how about Alolan Sandslash from Guardians Rising? For a single energy that let you once during your turn draw a card. Very cool. Never actually saw any play. So I'm going to be honest with you, the ability here is kind of fun. Going to be very good in pre-releases, but probably not going to end up being all that good. You know what's weird? I just told you about the 3 Pokemon that previously had this ability. 2 of them, Alone and Sandslash and Weird Ear, were pre-release promos. So I'm not saying this is like definitely going to be a pre-release promo, but I am saying, come on, this has got to be the leader in the clubhouse to appear as a pre-release promo. How weird is that? Huh, how weird ear is that? I don't know, it's just kind of cool. But if it does turn up as a pre-release promo, I just want it on the record that I predicted it months in advance. So there we go. That's what you need to know. This has a cool ability, but Crustle really is the star here. Oh, let's give it 3 Watties, I don't know. But for now, I want to know what you think about these 2. I want to know if you think they're going to be any good. I want to know anything you want to tell me. So let me know in the comment section, would ya? Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. And get shout-outs on the channel like the lovely Chelsea Rose, who's been a support of ours for a while now and is a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.